everybody. Welcome to day 31, part 1. There's a lot to cover today. So in this first part, I'm going to put mostly links up top and in the video description talking about hydroxychloroquine. There were several questions yesterday, one of them concerning Tom Hanks's wife. There was an article, I'll put it in the description. And a friend of mine sent me another article from a French study about hydroxychloroquine doesn't seem to be as promising as we thought. But guys, here's the deal. What you'll notice in Tom Hanks's wife and in the French article, as well as other studies that may be showing that hydroxychloroquine is not as effective as they hoped, you'll notice what they're not doing is including zinc in the protocol. So here's a link to a couple of doctors talking about how important it is to include extra zinc in the administration of hydroxychloroquine. Many doctors are also adding Z-Paks along with the protocol. There's a doctor in New York, which I will put in the description of the video, who has had unbelievable success with the administration of hydroxychloroquine with zinc and Z-Paks. So we need to understand, when is this being administered, number one, which means there are 4 different phases that doctors are talking about. It seems that hydroxychloroquine is most effective before people start getting into stage 2, stage 3. So the sooner we get them on, the better, which says one thing about the nature of this virus. So once the virus really turns and you get that cytokine storm, hydroxychloroquine seems to be less effective and other drugs seem to be more effective. I will put those drugs into the description of the video down below. Very interesting stuff. What's even more interesting is this one drug is designed to treat HIV, and it's having extremely effective, it's been shown to be extremely effective on the later phases of COVID-19. So hopefully that answers your question about hydroxychloroquine. By the way, I will put another link to a video of a doctor, this is well before the COVID-19 outbreak, talking about what you need to be concerned about with hydroxychloroquine overdosing. It takes years of people being on this, and you need to take a lot of it. Guys, I think the administration is something like 400 milligrams in the beginning of the day, 400 milligrams later in the day, and then the next day it's 200 milligrams and 200 milligrams for like 6 days or 5 days. This is not a lot, guys. There are people that take this drug for a hell of a long time, and the load is way higher in the body, and they're not seeing problems in people for 5-6 years. There are certain people that you may be concerned about taking, and that's all in the video. But at the end of the day, guys, any medicine is concerning, especially on an unhealthy person. So any medication on a person that's overweight, that's old, that has high blood pressure, there's always downstream effects to medications and what they do. But at the end of the day, we're trying to save people from this virus. Okay, enough said on that. So hydroxychloroquine with zinc is important. When you administer it is also important, and those results have been shown to be outstanding. Speaking of zinc, I'm going to show you guys something. I showed this neti pot already. I use it to clear out my sinuses before I do my meditation and breathing work in the morning. I suggested those of you that have trouble sleeping at night to do it before you go to bed. Make sure you're taping your mouth shut at night if you're a mouth breather, for reasons I talked about many times in previous videos. If you're unaware of what I'm talking about, trust me, it's super important, especially for your immune system, because sleeping well is important and breathing well is super important. But what you can do is just open this thing up. After you put the water inside, you just open up a zinc capsule, just open it up, and you can just pour it right inside, just like that. You get extra zinc up into the nasal and parasinuses, into the nostrils and parasinuses and down your throat. You may be saying, well, why would you do that? Well, I'm going to put another link right here to Dr. Chris Masterjohn, who is a PhD in biochem, talking about zinc. He works mostly with people on nutritional issues. He's absolutely brilliant. And he's talking about how important it is for zinc lozenges and having zinc basically in the upper respiratory area to help prevent viruses, bacteria, et cetera, and how there's real efficacy there. So that's another way to sneak it in. I haven't heard anybody else talking about that, so hopefully that's a gem for you guys. But I just started doing that the other day with the zinc. Okay, let's talk now about the real topics. So I'm going to put, I'm running out of links. I can only put 5 videos. I'm going to think what I'll do is I'll remind you guys that Dr. Shiva was talking about the issues with people being locked up. He was referencing the fact that people being inside has a terrible effect on the immune system. Jordan and I talked about this video maybe 2 or 3 videos ago. You can see the MIT doctor talking about that video. It's that MIT doctor. The very beginning, he talks about the issues of people being locked up inside and its effect on the immune system. And he references a study. I don't know what he was referencing here. But what I will tell you guys is if you want a real study, not on being locked up inside, but on being outside, I'm going to share with you guys something that's really, really important. Phil Murphy, our governor, has locked down the parks. Now, whether you agree with this or disagree with this is irrelevant. I just want to present the information. He locked down the parks. We're locked in at home. And when we do this, guys, there is an effect on the mind. There's an effect on the immune system. Now, in this interview with Phil Murphy, the interviewer, and again, guys, I want to tell you something. I don't care about Fox News. I don't care about CNN. I don't care about anything. What I'm interested in is human conversation and how people answer questions. That's what I'm interested in. I am not a religious person, but my mother's super religious, and I want her to be super religious. However, I am a very spiritual person. I spend the time every day in the morning to meditate 30, sometimes 40 minutes a day. I've gone through 4-hour meditations. I've gone on meditation retreats because I believe in what Ralph Waldo Emerson said, is that if there's anything sacred, it's the human mind. That building a human mind is really critical here. So I want people to be, religious as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. If it helps you, terrific. So it has nothing to do with my politics, my religious beliefs, or anything. I believe that human conversation is important here. Now, having said that, Phil Murphy is asked about closing down the parks. And what this interviewer is asking him over and over again is, where's the science to this decision? He's saying, where's the science to you making this decision about you allow liquor stores to be open? Okay, apparently this is a necessary thing. And Phil Murphy's answer is interesting. He says, well, we did our due diligence here, and we realized that if we shut down all liquor stores, that we'd be dealing with a very different problem, namely people detoxing from alcoholism. Like that we would have a whole different landscape of problems here with addiction. This is his answer. Now, that speaks more to our pitiful state of health than anything. And again, if there's one thing that this virus is calling out, it's our ability to adapt. And we're not adapting well. We're not adapting to what this virus is attacking, which is our immune system. Instead, we're choosing to make bad choices. And the fact that we need to leave liquor stores open, but not parks, is unbelievable. But let's leave that aside because that's just human logic and reason that we're being unreasonable. Let's just point to the science now about parks being open. I'm going to put a link right here. This is another MedCram video from yesterday, and this is some of the coolest stuff I've heard in a long time. They do 3 different studies on the effects of being basically in the forest or in the woods, basically being outside, being exposed to nature. What they found here is that being exposed to nature bolsters your immune system, the natural killer cells in particular. And he goes into great detail, of which, by the way, we talked about the innate immune system in a previous video. We talked about natural killer cells. We talked about autophagy and all that stuff. But don't worry about that. If you're interested, go back and check it out yourself. The point is that being outside has scientific evidence, and specifically being in nature has scientific evidence that it bolsters your immune system. So please listen to that video. So what we already know about being in the sun, what we already know about being in the woods, bolstering our immune system, or being in nature. Well, we already know about the effects of being inside. Well, we already know about the fact that it's more important to go into a liquor store than to go take a nice walk and practice social distancing on a path in a park somewhere. Guys, none of this is I don't, again, can we start rethinking some things? Can we start acting a little different? It's concerning, but I figured you guys would enjoy listening to that MedCram video. Hopefully this helps you think a little bit differently about what we're doing and how we're approaching things, and encourage people to start making the right decisions about how we should be living our lives. And you want one more piece of evidence? Here's one more piece of evidence. In the video description below, here's another article talking about the benefits of exercise and making sure people don't succumb to certain lung diseases that we're seeing in COVID-19, which I've gone into great detail in the past. So again, exercise, sunlight, getting into nature, or being locked inside, drinking alcohol, sitting on your butts. I mean, come on, man. I don't know. I hope I'm talking reasonably to everybody. But guys, please share. Give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate your attention. Have a great rest of the day, everybody.